welcome back to Swirlpool, a podcast that exists. We swear. It's a thing. It's happening. It's there. You can't deny it.
We ain't dead yet!
You're hearing it right now. We're the podcast that consumes, absorbs, and then talks about entertainment for your entertainment. We're kind of like...
And our entertainment, too.
And our entertainment, for sure. We're like a gelatinous cube, kind of. You know, we're kind of squirming around and just picking stuff up, and then sometimes we
share
shit
it
out
with you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm Chris, and I have to admit, before we started recording, I had a little bit of a headache, so I pushed my fingers into my... Actually, do not do that. Don't push your fingers into your eyes. It's terrible advice.
It hurts. I've tried it before.
It hurts so bad.
Yeah,
just to feel like,
not doctor.
Don't do that.
If you do it, just don't do it too hard.
It does not slowly stop the ache. Take some ibuprofen. Take some Tylenol.
It's gonna make it ache a lot.
Drink
more.
some water. Do something.
Drink some water. Maybe if you've got sinus, take some allergy medicine and then clear
lie
your
down.
sinus.
I'm here with the Vortex crew as always.
Yeah, I'm Grim Chorizo.
Are you? You sounded confused there for a minute.
And I...
Take my time, and I want out!
Nice. That's on brand.
Yes.
Very good.
Alright, well, Fiend here, and I know it's been a while since I've even been on,
on the airwaves.
Yeah, on the airwaves.
Right.
But I just had to let you guys know I made progress. I saw sparks.
What are you talking about?
My Kamehameha wave.
Oh my god.
The update.
Dude, is your key, is it flowing?
Yes, I feel it.
The chakras.
The update we've all been waiting for.
It gets my tingles going.
Your tingles!
Yeah.
So a spark came off the fingertips.
I swear, from one fingertip to the other, one hand to the X.
Dude, that's
I'm making progress.
Before
I'm
you
seeing
know
it.
Before you know it, you're going to be Master Roshi.
Yes.
I was going to say, somewhere Master Roshi, just a single tear is dripping behind his pervy sunglasses.
Yes.
Anyway, so this week, we're going to be covering something that's been kind of like, it hit us all in the face, and we were like, fuck yeah. And that's Slipknot's new album.
And it's fucking
We Are Not Your Kind.
Yeah, we're not your kind.
So that's kind of confusing, too. Like, I don't want to get too into it immediately, but didn't they have a song that literally, said that, and then it's not on this album? It was,
I think
the All Out Life or whatever?
Yeah, what was...
That's it's a standalone single, kind
right.
of.
Is that what the lyrics were to that one? Or
I think so. It definitely confused me. But either way, this album, I think... You know, we're not going to talk about it too much just yet, but
we will.
We will.
We definitely will.
Before we get into Slipknot, the band,
the
legend,
the Knot.
Let's
the Knot.
Before we
let's give them the slip.
Oh god.
Oh, geez.
Before we start tying knots, we should get into show and tell. So, Grim, do you have anything that you want to talk about that you experienced or enjoyed recently?
All right, yeah. One thing that recently I enjoyed that I saw was this past week was SummerSlam.
Oh,
and
That's
Bray
right,
Wyatt returned with his new character, The Fiend.
Oh, he stole your
badass.
Fiend.
He stole my name, guys.
Oh,
he must watch the Vortex.
Yes.
And clearly...
He got it from there.
He got it from here.
But I gotta say, I mean, it was they hit it out of the park. You know, presentation was amazing.
It was fucking sick.
The
Yeah,
match
it was
great.
badass.
They have something awesome on their hands with this new
lantern.
character.
The lantern.
Yeah,
Holy
his
shit.
It was so fucked
His
up.
lantern was his old head.
It had the eyelids sewn shut,
Oh my god! I have to interject because
creepy shit.
that's my thing too. That's my show and
really?
tell. But I'm gonna add to it. So just my experience was that I was trying to watch SummerSlam and the network was fucking up, the WWE network, and it went out right as he came out, and then it popped back on, and it was literally just face lantern, and I was like, oh! I was like, what am I watching? I was like, Jesus Christ!
What happened to Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. But I guess what I'll make I don't want to, just because it kind of ties in, my thing will be the Code Orange song that they did for The Fiend.
Yes.
So Code Orange, this band, they're actually like a hardcore band that are similarly to Slipknot, like they kind of take a lot of like nu metal and like stuff like into their style. And apparently I read they just made that song without being okayed by WWE. They made the song, recorded it, took a chance, sent it to Bray after they kind of barely got in touch with each other, and he's like, I'm fucking using this for my thing.
That's
and then
awesome.
They barely got it okayed in time for the show. So
that's awesome.
Check out, So Grimm's thing is go watch the entrance, and my thing is go listen to the song on Spotify.
Yeah.
So Fiend, what's yours?
Oh yeah, mine. Well, it's actually wrestling.
Really?
themed.
Oh,
It's
wow,
a wrestling
okay.
week, I guess.
It's not necessarily SummerSlam, which I didn't watch, but I watched highlights of, which was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That
was the best part. Yeah.
But you guys can start calling me John Cena
Oh fuck! What?
because I'm bringing Jorts back in style.
Oh, I did know. I wasn't.
I found a pair of jorts in my closet.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
And I was like,
Fuck it.
shit. I thought, when I moved,
Right.
I was cleaning out shit, and I was like,
found
where
a trove?
the fucking jean shorts come from? And I checked the size. I was like, hell yeah, I can rock these bad boys.
So you found like a.
I must have had them and just not have worn them in forever. And just tucked them away.
Right.
You're bringing them back. Jorts
I
are
found
in.
them. I'm gonna bring them back.
You found a secret lost cache of jorts. That's so amazing. And it's like you open it up and it was like, oh, and it was like finding a
and
legend.
they're not just
jorts.
And
Jorts.
cut off jeans, shorts. Different.
These are made to be
hemmed.
Yeah, these weren't
hemmed.
jeans.
I'm pretty sure they're Levi's.
Hemmed jorts. All right, you heard it here, folks. But jorts, they're coming back.
They are
without pockets, with pockets.
They've got pockets, just not
They're
not cargo shirts.
We'll get a picture for you,
jorts.
and we'll put it up on the gram.
Yeah.
All right, so Slipknot, the knot, as it were. We all have a history with Slipknot. I thought it'd be good to maybe start this episode where we're going to get deep into this album.
Deep.
As we like to do, as listeners know, we did that with the Punk Goes Classic Rock. We're going to run down the album, but first I thought it'd be good to kind of just talk about our general, experiences and thoughts on the band and kind of our history with them. So
Sure.
Let's get slippy.
Slippy.
Has anyone listened to their demo before they put out their self-titled?
Yes.
Once or twice.
Okay, it is so bad. If you told me that this band was going to become...
Is that when they didn't have Corey?
There was no Corey Taylor.
Right, okay.
They had another...
I have heard some of that stuff.
It's just really awful.
It's
I
not
think
good at all.
they didn't have
very
a vision.
raw. It wasn't
In weird... It just it raw, but also there weren't any sort of... there wasn't any sort of cohesion to anything.
Sure, yeah, okay.
It's just one of those things where you hear that and you're like, I could never imagine that this would
turn into what
yeah.
it.
But I was just curious about that. Grim, let's hear what's your personal experience with the knot?
Okay, so the first thing I think I probably remember was maybe 2004-ish, around there maybe 2005, 4 or 5, whatever. It was after the third album, Volume 3, had come out.
Right.
They were playing videos and live performances on VH1 and Fuse and stuff of them playing Duality and Before I Forget and stuff like that. There was a live performance of Duality or something, and I just remember being whoa, because there's 9 fucking dudes.
And they're all wearing orange jumpsuits and
you're
shit.
this is because I knew, it was I liked Metallica.
Duality was the one in the music video was one in the house, right?
Yes, okay.
Yes.
See, that I think for me, too, was my introduction.
That was a pretty badass music video.
Well, yeah, so Duality I think was the first thing I saw, and I remember being around that time was when music was really...
Dude,
we talked about in the last one,
2003,
4. So I was hearing all types of music, and then I heard Slipknot, and I was like, I didn't know, about this.
You thought Metallica
this
was...
metal, this heavy, this anger, this,
Sure.
holy shit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't I fell right in love with it, but I thought it was cool.
Right.
And then, so, I knew some of the hits and stuff, and then, still to this day, I will say, I like Slipknot. I would consider myself a pretty big fan, but I don't know much outside of their hits. I don't know the deep cuts. I know what plays on the radio and their big songs, and I really enjoy those, but I couldn't tell you anything about the real deep cuts or anything. But then I remember, their next album came out, All Hope Is Gone, and around that time we went and saw them. All 3 of us saw them. We'll get into that together.
Yeah.
But so we saw them in 2009, and then I actually saw them again in 2015.
Nice.
And they've always been
on which album?
That would have been after the Gray Chapter,
Nice.
tour.
Okay.
So I would say they've always been a band I
They're on the
liked
radar,
and enjoyed and really enjoyed their big songs. And there have been times I've gone through, and listened to the whole albums, but I just don't remember all the songs or anything. But yeah, so that's kind of my. And I know we'll talk about the concert experience, and then I can talk about my second concert experience too, compared to that first one. But yeah, that's kind of my not experience.
For mine, I was probably in, junior high school when I probably first started hearing them, obviously on the radio and stuff and through friends. I'm pretty sure a friend of mine from high school, he showed it to me and we were like, what the fuck? Like,
did he give you a burned disc?
He did.
I was going to say, that was what you do back then, was it's like,
I got a burned CD, because I was like, well, I need this, and then he gave me just like a mix of all their stuff.
And then you get on LimeWire and download everything.
Everything, probably a couple viruses with it.
Exactly.
And yeah, I really love Slipknot. I got into it. They're probably one of my favorite metal bands.
Well, I can just say, with your experience, I think you were I and Grim, for us it was Volume 3 with Duality, and I ended up buying that CD. That was just because I thought it was cool. I didn't know anything else on it.
Right.
But with you, I think you had some of the other CDs.
Yeah, I had Iowa.
Well, you had their debut.
Yeah,
the
self-titled. Yeah. I had that one, and I obviously had Subliminal Verses.
Right.
And then I think I had a burned copy of Iowa.
Right.
And their first album was pretty.
Well, you just fucked with all that shit, but
the self-titled album was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I can just tell you, we both in high school, your experience ties in directly with mine, because every day we'd go get lunch and we'd just listen to Slipknot the whole time, literally.
Well, at one point,
that's why I know all those songs.
I know in high school I got the Live 9.0 album. It was just they went on this tour and recorded songs throughout the whole thing, and they just stuck all the songs
into one.
So it had all of their awesome songs, deep cuts, and radio
but a live
hits,
version,
and But to me, I really like their live stuff. I think it sounds just as good,
different energy,
not
too.
better than their studio stuff, and which is weird. Most bands can't really say that, but as you said,
I think they also kind of thrive live with getting their crowd to do stuff. And they had, they were one of the first metal bands I knew that had interactions,
so much,
where now there's walls of death and stuff like that. But with them,
that's kind of always been there. But
but I didn't know about it at the time. But
them making people do things other than
Yeah. For me, it was just you having the self-titled album, because my thing was Volume 3.
I specifically remember that time rocking that album so much. It always reminds me of fall.
Yeah, I just think of sitting in your car eating chicken strips every day, and then listening to that's how I know the self-titled album so well, but that's for me. I don't know about you guys, but Volume 3 was my entrance, and to me, Volume 3 was almost like a pop. It's their Black album or something, where it's just all the songs are I wouldn't say I like every song on Volume 3, but it was my entry point to them, and I was this is the perfect blending of heavy metal, pop, and hip hop.
Yeah,
and then their self-titled was just so fucking insane and intense, and just all the spinning, the scratching and the DJ shit, and the rapping. That didn't come back until this album. Yeah, but I'm just saying,
pretty much,
for real. But that's why. So I credit you, Fiend, to me liking Slipknot more, because I probably would have only listened to their radio hits because I didn't know anything else.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I don't know if you guys have a favorite, but I think my favorite song would probably have to be "Disaster Pieces."
Okay. Well, is that on Iowa?
Yeah, that's on.
Okay, so here I just want to say before we get into the general stuff, but for me, I have huge holes in their discography. It was their first two albums, because Volume 3, no, that's their
third.
Third album,
so it was Iowa their second.
Yes.
So for me, it's Slipknot, Iowa. I know one song. I know People Equal Shit, and I also know Heretic Anthem. So 2.
Yeah.
And then I love Volume 3, and then it's just nothing, it's just a giant, except for Psychosocial. I know Psychosocial.
Yeah. Okay.
And I love that song.
Yeah.
So I don't know, do you know each album pretty well? Because Grim and I are similar.
All Hope Is Gone, I didn't get into as hard. It was definitely different from their other albums.
Yeah.
But I did like it a lot. They have a lot of good songs on there.
Mm-hmm.
the ones after that, Great Chapter.
Yeah, can you speak to the Gray Chapter? Because I don't know anything
I've
from
listened
it.
to it like once, but
Yeah, I really liked it.
I remember like listening to a couple songs and I just, at the time, it just didn't resonate. You know what I mean? It's not that it was bad, but then this new album came up.
Well, it was weird listening to the Great Chapter because it was the first album without Joey
Right,
Johnson.
they lost, and they
Yeah.
also lost
And-
multiple
and-
members, you know,
yeah,
so it's
and-
like kind of crazy.
And Paul
like,
Gray died, so
yeah.
yeah, the fact they lost Joey Jordison was, I mean, it was weird because he was such a integral part
Right.
of the sound, and the new drummer is incredible.
Yeah,
too.
the new
He
drummer-
he picked it up perfectly, but it's
Yeah,
still one of those things where you're like,
definitely.
oh,
Like, I want to shift gears a little bit. Do you guys know, like, the dynamic? Like, I don't know a lot about all the separate members. Like, I don't even know, like, the new people they brought in,
Sure,
really. I think
yeah.
they're secret. All I can say is that it seems like, I know Jim Root, because he's a guitar guy.
Right,
And I've listened to
and I know he plays
writes
with
the
them,
riffs
and he
stuff.
plays with them in
Stone Sour.
Stone
yeah,
Sour.
him and Corey.
Which I gotta
Him and
say,
Corey
I
play
don't
together.
like Stone Sour. I
I don't
tried.
care for So Sour. It's different.
Yeah.
It's
Nah,
different.
Yeah,
not my
it's-
thing either.
And that doesn't, yeah, I'm just
There's
saying,
maybe
like,
one or two songs, but outside of that, I just don't like it really.
but it's like, because the weird thing that blew my mind about Slipknot when I heard about it was that the clown guy who hits kegs with a bat, like,
Is awesome.
well, he like created the band.
Yeah.
And he like composes stuff. I didn't realize that.
He did a
Like,
lot of stuff for. I mean,
He does all the electronic. Like
Yeah.
I was so confused because I thought like I wanted to look this up before we recorded. Like the DJ guy, like does he play a synthesizer to do all the electronic stuff? But it sounds like a lot of it is the clown guy. Like fucking writes like cool like soundscapes and like. He's like part of the huge creative like it blew my mind because I'm like I thought that was like their drunk uncle who
And he
just
just
like
comes
gets
and
up there and
hits
is like
shit,
hell yeah like
Yeah.
that's I honestly didn't know the dynamic at all
Yeah.
like because I mean the percussion adds a lot to their sound
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
it's just one of those things where I just thought it was like one of those things where it's like you know certain bands they're just like yeah you can be in the band too or something
Yeah.
I didn't understand how integral certain characters in the group were you know but
So, Fiend, you were saying you think your favorite track by them is probably Disaster Piece, as
Yeah.
far as not on this album. So I was kind of curious what
bad
you
I
guys-
don't even know that song.
I was kind of curious what
We'll listen to it later.
outside of this album, what I guess Chris,
Right.
kind of what your
So not
favorite
on
or a couple
We Are Not Your
favorites are. I mean, for me, I think if I had to pick like two or three, I mean, Spit It Out is amazing. That's one of my
dude,
all-time
yeah.
favorites. Spit It Out, yeah, I'd say Spit It Out, Psychosocial, and I mean, Duality is such a classic. I think I'd have to say those
it's good.
three.
It's so good.
What about like okay for me? I know when I was younger, it was Before I Forget, Vermilion, and Duality because those were like the
Yeah.
Volume 3 ones. You brought up Spit It Out is really awesome.
love
I always
Spit It Out.
liked Sick. I liked like
Wait and
Surfacing,
Bleed.
Surfacing
Eyeless.
is really cool.
Wait and Bleed was the one I just played all the time. It
Yeah.
was easy because that's my thing. Like I play guitar and like. You gotta tune down like a motherfucker. And I usually play in standard, so it's like I didn't play a lot of like Slipknot stuff. I'd say my favorite, honestly, Psychosocial is such a fucking
It
good
is.
song.
I think
It
that's
really
like
is.
the.
Honestly, it kind of feels.
It gets got it
Also,
all.
there's a guitar solo.
Yeah.
And it's a good guitar solo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's one thing I was just like, Psychosocial might be my favorite that doesn't include
Yeah,
the new album.
it's-
Because
it's great.
I will, like, without
The-
doubt.
actually-
Yeah.
The new album. Well, once we get to it,
Dude, it's. Yeah.
I'm.
I don't want to blow
There's
my
new
load.
favorites for
Yeah,
sure.
no,
yeah.
I agree. Yeah,
Definitely.
we'll get there. We'll get there. This was another question I wanted to ask earlier. I was wondering
Who's your favorite not?
No, well, not your favorite, but so
Okay.
there's the 9 members. They all have their own.
They're like if
look and
Kiss,
stuff.
like, was
Sure.
Yeah, so
big,
when
you know?
think
like,
Slipknot, if you can only pick one, what's like the guy, the mask that comes to mind? Just the one. For me, it's Mick Thompson. For me,
Mick definitely has the most
I feel like
badass mask.
you know what? He
Because it
hasn't
never
changed it.
changes.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
But the thing is, day one. I guess it changed a little bit from the first 2 albums. But when he has the look that he has now,
Yeah.
he's not changed it. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was from Subliminal Verses,
Right.
Volume 3.
It's an angry
Yeah.
robot.
Hey, and I'm not even saying
And,
it's
like-
my favorite. I'm just saying when I
Well,
think Slipknot, that's the
It's
one.
one
that's
of my
like,
favorites because it's just so badass
It is
that he
badass.
hasn't had he's just like fuck changing my mask.
He's
my
basically-
mask is like the most badass thing on the planet.
He's basically like Jason Voorhees. You know, like
Yeah,
he's
kinda.
he's the Carrie King of
Yeah.
He reminds me of the mask reminds me of like an evil Casey Jones.
yeah, for sure, the hockey mask.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying
Yeah.
Voorhees. He obviously that's iconic just because it hasn't changed or whatever.
Right.
I would say as far as like that's not your favorite though, Graham?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but when I'd
What's your
say
favorite?
when I think Slipknot, like if I see one mask, it's probably his. My favorite mask.
But they've
I don't know.
changed so
I really
much,
liked
that's
when
the
Joey was in the band and had the crown of thorns. I thought
That was
The
pretty
Crown of
sick.
Thorns was pretty sweet.
And the weird,
and he
like-
had the weird black, like,
Yeah, I always
clown
liked that.
face almost. Like
He also had like
Chester
twigs
style.
and stuff all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, I always liked
That one was pretty badass.
That was probably.
I think there's some underrated stuff though. Like I think Jim's mask is probably the most aesthetically pleasing.
The one he has now, like, or well, I mean, it's changed a little bit,
His
but
is like mixed, but he changes it more. It's like Phantom of the Opera.
yeah, I
kind
like
of,
that.
like,
One.
It's really
I really
cool.
like that one a lot.
And he has this like beard out. I think
Yeah.
that's cool. But I think Corey's mask, he takes risks and does ugly, just weird stuff.
I really
that
like the one that he
people shit
had
on
for
and stuff.
Subliminal Verses.
Yeah, that was
That
awesome.
weird, like
yeah.
necrotic, like infested,
Rotted.
just, like,
Yeah.
And his
rotted,
original with the
like-
dreads coming out. And
That
stuff,
one, I
yeah.
guess, was just so disgusting by the time he
Oh,
got
I'm
his
sure.
mask that like it was just falling apart. Apparently, he sweat one off, like it just like
Oh, fuck.
corroded because he sweat so much.
It's like that's really nasty.
Like-
Actually, I don't know.
the
I don't know
stuff
what my
it was made. I was like, that's gross.
That is
Yeah.
messed up. Maybe we should talk about we went to a concert together for Fiend's birthday a
Yeah.
long time
So when
ago.
I turned 20,
yeah,
we got tickets to go see Slipknot on my birthday.
Yes.
So that was badass.
yes,
It was badass.
It was badass. Yeah,
And that was a hell of an experience, I should say.
what tour was that for?
It would have been All Hope Is Gone.
All right,
I'm pretty sure it was like the second leg of the All Hope Is
Yeah.
Gone tour.
right.
And like we saw the opening bands were 3 Inches of Blood,
Which they were amazing.
which
Kill
were
the Orcs.
badass. They kind of blew us. I never heard of that band.
Honestly, they were that's like my favorite thing of the opener.
until we saw them, and they were. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't
mean,
even know that.
Obviously, Slipknot was awesome, but like because I haven't heard it and it blew me away, it was probably my favorite part too.
I didn't really know that traditional metal was even being played anymore.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know new bands were
Yeah.
doing old school
and
metal.
it was just
but
like.
fucking Devil Driver.
Yeah, then we-
I
And
hate
then we
Devil
saw
Driver.
Devil Driver was
They
before
were
Slipknot,
awful.
and that was
It's
And
angry,
all it
aggressive
is
music. Yeah,
is a time for people to just kill one another.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that's all people did for like the whole 45 minutes of the set was just mosh.
Well,
like angry,
I will
violent
say-
moshing. It wasn't even like
Slipknot and bands like that, they have the most violent crowds.
they do.
Oh, for
But
sure.
here's the thing: is
But Devil Driver was like
well, that was just ridiculous. But
Just-
I guess what I'm saying is like
I like to
they.
enjoy the music. Not
I think
die.
metalheads are overall like class acts, like true
Yeah,
metalheads. The
true.
thing is that Slipknot has a bigger reach to like a casual, more like a
Sure.
further thing. So like you don't have like the hardcore music nerds going to their shows.
Right.
You have guys who are just like, I love getting fucked up and listening to Duality, and like because like half the people we talked to there weren't like talking about their music at all.
right.
They were just because. Fiend had the great idea to be like front and center in the circle pit.
We
We
were.
survived the circle pit. I got out of there
Yeah,
as soon
all
as
three.
possible.
Us three got out.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
moved
We were like-
after
It was
a while
rough,
because
man.
we were like,
Someone
I
got
don't.
stabbed in that crowd. It
Someone
was like,
broke their femur.
yeah, it was crazy.
Somebody's leg got snapped in the pit.
Dude, I wear
That
glasses.
was during Devil Driver, I'm pretty sure. Or was
Yeah.
that during Slipknot?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. All I'm saying is that I think metal in general is like aggressive and a good, outlet for, like especially at shows and stuff. But I think that Slipknot just has a bigger net, like a farther reach.
Yeah,
and
for
if you
sure.
get more like just casual listeners who aren't necessarily like into, because I can just tell you there were some characters at that show. There was like
gosh.
Juggalo.
Those juggalos. I need some papers.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
my God.
I need some
nothing
papers.
wrong
Anybody
with-
got some papers?
nothing wrong with being a juggalo, but I'm saying like there's an overlap of like white trash, like like on parole, like
Sure,
they're
yeah,
ready
yeah,
to
yeah.
just get some anger out, so that because they can't
Probation
beat, they
or
can't
something,
beat their
like-
wife, so they can
Right.
punch women in the pit.
Yeah.
And then you have like enforcers who are like actually doing something good, and then you have people like us who are like, we like Slipknot and we're just getting our asses kicked. I had to crawl over people like to get out of there. It was insane. Like I just know I'd rather stand back and see the stage and listen.
Enjoy and listen.
Yeah, because for me, I'll just die. I will just die. But yeah, like that's the thing is like Slipknot could write the most like technical, interesting, magnum opus of a song, and people would just be like, "I'm gonna fucking elbow.
Yeah,
I want to
that's-
crowd kill somebody." Like,
Yeah.
because that's just how it is. you know?
Right, exactly.
It was a great show. Though.
Yeah, I
mean,
swear.
Yeah,
I swear.
Once Slipknot started, it did get pretty intense sometimes, but
Yeah.
for the most part, like that was at a point where people wanted to
They were.
enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. People
like,
were gonna
it
like
kind
pay
of
attention.
toned down
Yeah.
as far as moshing.
They
and
wanna-
stuff.
enjoyed the
wanted
music.
to see.
Also, all the weed like kicked in, and like everyone was just like, "Hell yeah, this is good." It wasn't like all the coke wore off from the people beforehand who were just like, or the meth. I don't even. It was
we
definitely
got to experience the crowd interaction. When
it was fun. It was really fun.
They made us where they get you on the floor,
right?
Yeah.
Jump.
Is that Pulse of the Maggots? They do that.
I think it's through surfacing.
Surfacing. You're right. Okay.
Surfacing.
Yeah.
Because I just remember the main thing I will always remember is right when we get up to the front, and there's that one dude in front of us, and he's like, I don't remember the exact line,
just
but
got out of the
I
core.
swear he said, I was like, I can't wait to fucking punch someone in the face.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am going to move over this way.
I saw a woman get punched in the face. I saw a girl on her boyfriend's shoulders get clotheslined off his shoulders. I was like, why? What? This isn't like a
people just are out for blood.
It's not carte blanche to beat a woman. Like it's one thing to like beat the shit out of a dude, but like it was insane.
Yeah.
Either way,
so then I
show.
then have to say just briefly that I saw them again in 2015.
Yeah, let's compare.
And
contrast.
this time we had seats. And this time, I got to sit and watch and enjoy the music a little more, and look down at the mosh pit and be like, "Hey,
that's the thing. I love that. I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
I'm not in there right now.
Yeah, exactly.
That feels good. But yeah, so yeah, both times were definitely experiences, and they're very fun to see live for sure.
Oh,
yeah. All right, so We Are Not Your Kind.
It's the new album.
Just came out, and
it's not hasn't stopped playing in my car.
That's awesome.
Like it's just always on.
I've listened to it multiple times.
I loved it.
Yeah, I've listened to it. I've listened to it probably less than you guys. I've listened to it a couple times, but I've listened to some of the songs like a lot. But I mean, overall, it fucking rocks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Honestly,
they definitely took some risks and experimented on some things, I think. And I liked it. The atmosphere of the album was cool. I really liked all the little like interludes between songs and stuff.
It felt cohesive.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like,
that's my opinion. Was like as an album, like front to back, it's got to be their best album.
I agree.
For
like,
sure.
There isn't really a low point.
No. Nothing stands out as like, this sucks. Nothing
exactly,
sucks.
because that's my problem with so many albums and stuff, and I can't speak to Slipknot specific. I meant to go back and listen to the whole catalog and just be like, I'm a Slipknot master, but I just did not have the time. Yeah. But this is just like, it's almost like metal renaissance right now. It's so weird. Well, it's like crazy. Like,
yeah, it really is. Well, yeah, it really is, because I was telling you guys earlier, it's like it feels like going back to like 2003, like back in high
but
school
even
days.
Better. It's like they're
because I know, but like
Slipknot's
coming out with a new album,
right?
Korn,
right?
You know, Tools,
Tool
came back, and also just tons of new bands who are killing, like absolutely at their height.
Sure,
like it's just insane. Like it feels kind of like for me, like with horror movies, it's like a horror movie golden age again.
Yeah,
and this is metal golden age.
Yeah, it's a metal golden age.
Everything just sounds good, like so good. Like the production on this album was insanely good, because I mean, it's not like their old albums had necessarily bad production, but like there was a tasteful use of effects and stuff. Like sometimes you listen to some of the old songs and it's just like dry as hell. Like it just sounds like there's nothing really.
It sounds like they really had. I mean, just from reading snippets from things, it sounds like they just had like had a really fun time creating the album.
Yeah, and like kind of working together.
Kind of shows, I would say. Yeah. I mean, like
the risks you brought up were so refreshing in the album.
Yeah.
Like rather than it just being front to back, just pure aggression. But that was the thing too. Specific songs, I was like, this is like their debut album. Like I was like, holy shit! This sounds,
sure. Yeah, definitely.
He's I guess I should save it for the individual songs, but like.
But the rapping was there.
The rapping was there.
And it was really
the riffs
good.
were. There's the three R's of Slipknot: riffs, rhythms, and rapping.
Yeah, and they have it all.
And they had it all, and it was so good. It was so awesome, and like I don't think there's ever been better hooks on a Slipknot song.
It's something I noticed. I only think it's on like really one song, and I'll bring it up when we get to. It's on Spiders.
Okay, like, that was a really interesting song.
There was no guitar solos.
There's no guitar solos on the whole album, I don't
think. Except on Spiders.
Okay, yeah.
Where it does that weird stuff.
That's
but
why
I want to bring that up later.
But I noticed that too. It was all just like pure pop.
Yeah,
it was like
straight
all the
up.
songs were pop songs, but just with like insane heaviness.
Filled with that classic Slipknot, like heavy.
Yeah,
shit,
definitely.
Which brings me to my first point, I guess, overall, is like, how the fuck do they sound so good? So, like, Corey Taylor has been screaming his guts out for 20 years.
Just read something. I guess he quit drinking years ago.
Oh,
and
okay.
also quit smoking. Like,
Well, there you go.
5 years ago.
Rehabbed his voice.
And he's like, my voice has never been stronger. Actually,
He sounds fucking amazing.
I know.
like it's insane how good he sounds.
Yeah.
Like
It just blows me away.
and like
He's
his voice is like his. And honestly, I felt like he lost it in
A little
some of
bit,
the last few albums. But like his growl is just like
it sounds exactly
there,
the same. Yeah,
and just like his
got like
his roar. Like,
some vocalists they have like different like. I don't know how to word it, but different registers they sing in.
Yeah.
Like, some people use Axl Rose as an example. He has the high, like, and then he also has, like, a...
yeah, Corey is just, like, fucking murder.
Well, he has a beautiful...
Awesome.
He has, like, a beautiful...
He's got a great singing
voice,
he
but he
does.
also has an amazing scream, and then he has a great rapping voice,
right.
and then he also has, like, a creepy, like, she's coming home.
Right.
Like, it's like... He's got, like, 5 different
yeah,
voices.
he
He's
is
like a
like
cat. He's like a
right.
cat.
Yeah.
He's just got like all these different vocalizations.
Yeah.
And it's so like a singer, I can't like it's just so much that you have to do
Right.
well.
Right.
And it's just like I'm like, how if you scream like that, how do you then
still have that great of
the
a
pristineness
voice,
of everything?
yeah.
I just was blown away by all of the performances.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, you guys are like old and you've been doing this for a long time. They're not that old. I'm just saying, if you've been doing this for 20 years,
right? Yeah.
and it's just better than ever. It just kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, it's
a little
crazy.
bit.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah, hands down, front to back, definitely.
That's
really
my
good
thing. Is
album.
speaking of front to back, it's just as you mentioned. There's these transitional songs.
Yeah.
and it makes the album more like an experience.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a cohesive thing, and the thing I like about that is it's like you're never like this is going on too long or this is going.
Right.
I'm bored. Right when you're like this is kind of. Not boring, but like something needs to happen. It just transitions
Something
into
happens,
something
yeah.
weird and risky. And I think this has to be my favorite album overall.
Yeah.
Like,
I would agree with that.
I have some not issues at all, but I have to. We can't all just jerk this thing off. So I'm gonna make fun of it for a few things.
But I would agree with that. I think top to bottom, yeah, it's probably my favorite Slipknot record. So the album starts out with Insert Coin.
Yeah.
This pretty awesome, creepy intro that kind of sets the tone for the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's really
ambient.
So my main thing is obviously it's creepy, ambient. To me, it had like an '80s vibe kind of.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They definitely watched like
I felt like
they discovered chiptune or something.
It honestly felt like
Scott Pilgrim.
when Joel Cummings from Humphreys
Okay.
gets his little alone time and just like
Two people will know
fucks
what you're
around
talking about.
on like
Keyboard or something.
keyboard on the synths and stuff,
Right.
and like just makes weird noises and stuff. That's
Right.
It really reminded me of something like that. Not
Right, like
necessarily
someone
that
right, but someone who's like tweaking like knobs on a
just,
synth or something.
tweaking with
Well, that's
stuff.
what it. I'm like someone discovered like bit crushing
Yeah.
in Slipknot and is like this shit's awesome.
Yeah.
Like they heard an indie game soundtrack or something. It reminds me of lately the big thing is like Stranger Things and all these things
Yeah.
Oh,
have
yeah.
like a retro vibe of like
Sure.
80s, 90s like
Yeah.
nostalgia arcade. Insert coin. It's right
Yeah,
there.
right
They went and
there,
saw
yeah.
Ready Player One and were just like, let's do that.
Yeah.
Right.
But apparently this was the thing I watched just on Twitter. They had like little clips of Jay, the drummer, talking about it. And I guess Clown just wrote this shit. Like,
Huh.
I'm like, dude, I didn't know at all. Like, I'm sorry, Clown. I thought you were a clown, not a. I thought you were just
Good shit.
You were just
Yeah.
there to hit the king.
Apparently, he's a creative dude who has all these creative like.
He's like the man behind it all, but he's like, I just did shit, but I actually,
I
all.
write beautiful soundscapes sometimes too, because there's like sound like not to get too into the nitty gritty of each song, but I guess that's what we're doing. But there's like what sounds like a very sad guitar, like going like, like
I
these
did
weird
notice that,
creepy
yeah.
like whines and stuff, and it was just it's a really good tone setter for the whole thing.
yeah. So then it leads right into Unsainted, which is the first single off of this album, right?
Yeah.
Like the biggest
Honestly,
hit right now. And my God,
I heard Unsainted and I was
My
like,
God.
I'm like, I got it. I'm ready for this album.
What?
Well, because I heard what's it called? All Out Life?
Yeah.
All Out Life,
So,
yeah.
and that was like a previous thing. And I was like, this is pretty cool, but I wasn't like sold. I'm like,
Same.
Slipknot's still out there. That's neat.
Right.
But it wasn't this
Wasn't
blew
like
my,
this.
This blew my fucking mind. I was
Right.
like, the choir and the
Yeah.
like, that is just...
It's got it all with, I mean, the chorus is in my head all day, every day.
Right.
You know, the verses have that...
The rapping is
Well,
classic
the
Slipknot.
verses, yeah, it's the classic. It's like fucking their first album again, you know?
It's that...
And then you hear the... gung, 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 you know, them hitting their metal shit.
Yeah,
like, so,
yeah,
you know?
right.
And I'll be honest, some of the other older Slipknot stuff, the percussion... I have this thing with drums where, like, you know, you want your backbeat or whatever, like the kick and the snare, you know, they emphasize at certain things at certain times, and I would sometimes get annoyed because the percussion, like hitting, like the sound of just hitting like a marching snare at the wrong time kind of, it obscures the drum beat and it would piss me off sometimes. That never happens on this album because I think the percussion is just perfectly melded with the drum kit.
It's unreal. Like, and I thought the choir part was really cool.
The boy, well, there's like a boys choir that's like, and then there's like the men's choir that's like, it's like two octaves or something.
I guess they didn't. Corey wasn't a fan of it at first until he like
I can't believe
heard
that.
it all together, and then he was like,
Oh, I get it now.
It
that
just
sounds fucking awesome.
because Unsainted, it has the kind of Catholic undertones.
Sure it does.
Yeah, you
of,
guys
like,
saw the video, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah, for
it's-
sure. But the thing for me that was just like the blending of basically you're singing in unison, but like 3 octaves because Corey's in the middle, the boys' choir is like way up on top of the soprano,
really low,
and then you have the low bass. It's so powerful and badass, and the riff like just as it gets like that is a fucking badass riff.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
And the chorus, I mean, like we already
Chorus
said.
so catchy, just so good. Great lyrics too. Like fuck, man, it's great. This is one of their best songs they've ever written.
It's epic, anthemic, and just sick as hell.
Yeah, it's a classic Slipknot
definitely.
anthem. I love the bridge. The ding.
That was another thing is
It's like a harmony.
like,
It's kind of like it's like a kind of major harmony, right? Or is it like? Doesn't it sound? It sounds like it's like dark, but it's also kind of happy sounding. Or
there's not much else to say other than this song fucking rips, and it's like the best. It's not. It's up there, man. It is so fucking good.
The best
Fucking
part about
rocks.
this is it's not my favorite of this album.
That's
and it's so
I'm
fucking
not,
good.
I'm not even gonna say.
I'm not gonna reveal, but I will say I feel similar.
Yeah, I won't say my favorites until the
Until
very
the
end.
end, but I do. I feel you. I
Okay.
feel what you're saying.
Birth of the Cruel. What do you guys think about this one?
This is like we're back in the early 2000s, like late 90s. Like it feels like new metal as fuck with all the scratching and the melody is like it just feels like that old school thing.
Oh yeah.
I definitely would
It's
agree
so
with the
weird.
old school.
Because when he started singing like that, I was like, oh, this is weird. And then I'm like, dude, no, this sounds like all those. I don't know how to describe it. It puts you in a weird headspace. Like it's nostalgic in a weird way.
Yeah, well, when I heard it, it made me think of another band, but I can't figure out what band it is.
Same.
This one's pretty fucking grooving.
It's amazing.
It's
Dude,
definitely their groover.
I really like. Go ahead.
all I'm gonna say, this is the bass song.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
I was just gonna.
It's like
mention
it is the best bass tone. It shines through. I listened to the whole album through just listening for the bass, and this is the bass song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the perfect bass tone.
It's
It's crunchy and it's present, and it's almost like I wouldn't say it's the lead instrument, but it's like the main rhythm. It sounds like Korn or something.
It does,
But
yeah.
if Korn was like their bass was like not just like someone like farting. It was like really like present and like awesome. It's really just insane. I
Yeah.
couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
And how about those
it was really
drums? Those
awesome.
fucking drums are mad. Like
For sure.
Yeah, the drum parts are reminiscent of the old stuff, but
yeah.
also like I don't know, it's just everything. It's a weird song that is when you put all the pieces together, it's just fucking really good.
I love it.
Also, it was the return of a lot more of the like I haven't listened to a lot of the like you have Fiend, with the previous albums, but this had like the DJing stuff like took
Oh,
center
and
stage as
scratching
well.
and
The
stuff,
scratching
yeah.
was really
Yeah.
cool, and it's so reminiscent of like the old stuff. So
And I do love that chorus a lot. Just I don't
Yeah.
even know the words.
Well,
Like just fucking cool.
gang
Like,
vocals,
just
Yeah.
awesome.
Return of the gang vocals
Yeah.
from Psychosocial and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, gang vocals definitely is in this whole thing.
yeah, throughout the whole album,
Yeah.
for sure.
Then we got like another kind of in between
Yeah.
transitional track, "Death Because of Death."
We're back in the arcade.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I said it before. It's
Yeah.
just creepy.
Yeah,
Well,
it was,
no,
it was cool.
It
It
has
was
like a Middle Eastern kind of like sitar
A little
drone
bit,
thing because
yeah.
it's got the tonality.
yeah.
It almost is like a mantra.
And then
or
it always
something.
felt like it just like it was in like a wave of like an airwave
Yeah.
almost.
There's
Like,
not a whole lot to say about some of the transitional ones just because they're more of like escape that like transitions you,
Yeah.
obviously. Like that's the whole point. But
Right.
I have to say, there's like, there's like this pervasive feeling of almost like, not psychedelia, but like, it feels kind of like Magical Mystery Tour-esque. Like
Okay.
Beatlesy, like those, his vocals are being run through a Leslie speaker.
Yeah,
It
you're
sounds
right,
like Blue Jay
actually.
Way. Or
Yeah.
like, and the harmonies are like, we just went to India. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Right.
describe it.
You're
There's
kinda
this
right.
there's this weird element of psychedelic, almost like I hate, like this, no one is gonna agree with me on this, but it's almost like an element of like 60s like psych rock.
No, I definitely
With
see it.
the experimentation they're doing. And I think they're only really willing to do that on the transitional songs, but every single one has an element
that
of it.
element.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like Magical Mystery
Yeah,
Tour, which
you're
is
right.
one of my favorite Beatles records. They did, like Flying, and they
Right,
did Blue
right.
Jay Way, and
Yeah.
they did all these weird things. I feel like Slipknot just fucked around in the studio and had fun with it
Yeah.
and made some cool, weird sounds.
Yeah,
and that's
definitely.
one of these songs is a perfect example.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up, Nero Forte.
The song fucking rips!
Oh my
Yes.
god!
Oh!
It is-
Like I'm not just trying to say that about like every song, but like this one.
No.
It just straight up from the
Holy
beginning, you're like,
shit.
oh shit, it's just gonna fucking kick in and just fucking be awesome. Like,
This is the... Okay, I'm kind of showing my hand here, but this is like the perfect Slipknot song. Like, it
Yeah.
has literally every
Everything.
element.
It's
Yeah.
fucking frantic, heavy, and hectic, and just like right off the bat, you know, like
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
oh shit, something. This is chaotic. This is like
Yeah,
crazy.
the drums. I mean,
the
it's
drums are pretty insane.
but the
Yeah.
verses with the. I mean, the verses, the rapping is super impressive and like aggressive. But then you just are dunked into this tank of just like the chorus hits, and it's just like you're just in space all of a sudden, and it's like this ethereal
Yeah.
melody. That is the best hook
Yeah.
I've heard in years.
Yeah,
just in general.
no, it's such a great, and it's like it's haunting sounding.
Yes.
It's like a haunting melody, but then you have him like come in with that second line. Where
It's like a call and response.
I
it's
love
like
it.
Yeah. And then he's like,
It's perfect.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's really
and
good.
then the underlying chordal structure is like those. They're just. It's like it's simultaneously. It should sound cheesy. It should sound like something from a Tim Burton movie.
Right.
But it's not. It's just fucking
Awesome.
sick. It's just so good. Like,
Yeah, and right when it picks up, you can literally see people jumping, like,
Oh, hell
like
yeah.
they'll be like,
Oh, yeah.
jump the fuck up, you know?
Yeah.
Like you can literally see
Yeah.
that.
yeah, and just the way like the percussion, like this is what I was kind of coming back to how like sometimes the percussion would interfere. On this one, the I guess I'd call it like marching.
The classic march.
The
Oh, yeah,
classic
the-
marching
just-
percussion.
The blister exists. The
blister
psycho.
exists.
The psycho show.
Yeah,
exactly. But during the verses, they're just going.
Yeah.
It's like an orc army marching, like it's just so good. And then that chorus, this is the one, like the song I could just listen to over
I
and
feel you,
over
I
and
feel
over.
you.
It is so good. The bridge brings back the classic marching
Yeah,
percussion.
like we were talking about. Yeah,
It's so fucking
got
good.
it all in one.
Don't know what else to
song.
say about it other
Yeah,
than
it's really cool. I wanted to bring up a cool thing.
Yeah, please do.
When I was listening to it, the last few times, or the last time I started like reading through the lyrics and stuff to try to hear them and just
yeah.
absorb the lyrics too outside of the music.
That's something I didn't do.
And in this song when I think it's towards the end where it's like more of like the breakdown where it's like it's like he says something and he kind of like screams afterwards or whatever.
Right.
So like. But it says, I'm just going to say like the first words of each of those phrases.
Right, the
'cause
block.
It makes like a sentence basically.
Oh, okay.
So it's like
So it's like a
it
riddle
starts
or
like a part. It goes, "Why was it easy for you? Did I deserve the abuse or whatever?" And it keeps going down and down and down. But like the
Right.
first words from each of them are, and he chants it. He goes, so he yells, "Why?" And then he goes, "Did."
Yeah,
Right.
So the words are,
didn't
"Why
even-
did I not see your true face until it was too late? Lie, lie."
Wow,
Damn.
that's awesome.
So I was like, what? That's
Well, I heard
cool.
I heard him chanting it, but I didn't put it all together.
I know.
yeah.
You heard him
That's-
chanting it, but then like,
Nice.
but
really
when I was
cool.
reading it, I was like reading through it, and then because it's in bold block, like,
Right.
You know, you can. I was like, oh shit!
Dude,
I was
well,
like,
that's good insight. Thanks
Yeah.
for bringing that up because
Yeah.
that makes me like it even more.
and I was just like, man, I was like, this song's cool. I was like, that just makes it even cooler. I
Yeah.
was like, what?
Hell yeah.
Critical Darling.
You know how you know that sound at the beginning, that you know
Yeah.
how they got that effect?
They listen to Twisted Transistor.
God damn it! I was gonna say,
Oh, man.
I was gonna say, you need to get a Twisted Transistor.
Yeah, well, right when I
literally-
heard it, I was like, Twisted Transistor.
Yeah, no, it's literally the exact. You stole my bit.
I just helped.
No, but they literally. I just heard that and I was like,
Yeah.
and I was like, but yeah, that was immediately what hit me. This song is really awesome too. This is like pure pop, like sensibility
Yeah.
to me. Heavy. It's just heavy pop song.
Straightforward, like,
Really awesome
Yeah, I
chorus.
would say that's a good way to put it. It's heavy, but yeah, it's a pop song. Chorus is
straightforward,
catchy.
good riffs, and
And
like,
also, this one also kind of has some of the good, like, that rap style, too. Like,
Yeah.
that was the thing. Was like my worry.
or his, like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, this was, to be honest, my first listen through this. Nero Forte blew my mind, and then this one was really cool too. So they kind of bled together
Yeah.
for me. Like as one,
you're like, what?
yeah, because they like obviously they have completely different choruses, but they both stand out as like super hook heavy poppy songs
Yeah.
that have like a big anthem in the middle. You know what I mean? Like Unsainted as well. I mean, but I'm just saying these two are back to back. Yeah, and this also, the only thing that with this one was it felt kind of long to me. I think it was long, but a big chunk of it is just like an ambient kind of string outro.
yeah, the
thing.
outro is, I use it again, the haunting kind of, the string thing feels kind of like a,
setting up the next song.
It did kind of have like a good breakdown at the end.
Oh, hell
Where
yeah,
it gets-
yeah. That's the thing is, like, a lot of our praise for a lot of these songs is just like, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's just kind of
but
how
they
it
really
is.
are.
I
so-
mean, I really like all the like. Not all metal bands can do it right, but when
Right.
they have like a breakdown part, like
Yeah.
it's fucking cool. Like,
Yeah, and, well, I mean, if anyone can do it, I mean, typically when you think of breakdowns, I think of, like, you know, hardcore, metalcore stuff, but
metalcore shit.
Slipknot kind of brings in, like, some hardcore elements and stuff like
Right.
that, but in a tasteful way, and, yeah, I don't, like, get sick of hearing it or anything.
Next track is called A Liar's Funeral.
This one was weird because it's like it's the ballad, I guess, or like it's kind of like a
Sure.
funeral dirge, like no
Yeah,
pun intended,
yeah, funeral.
but is simultaneously like has some
Definitely-
of the heaviest.
definitely-
shit.
that's why it's up there competing with one of my
Okay.
favorites because I really liked the softness to it with the acoustics and stuff.
They're beautiful.
But then when it just
parts,
fucking
yeah.
comes in, like when it just fucking screams,
Yeah,
and it
it's
goes,
like, dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah,
Graham, what are your
I was
thoughts?
gonna say this one out of all the songs, you can feel like the emotion the most.
Sure.
for sure.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
definitely.
you can literally like I love the soft acoustic stuff. Feels kind of like Pantera or something, you know, like with
You know what it makes-
Cemetery Gates or something. Or
Oh sure, yeah.
I mean, obviously
yeah.
not-
Lyrically and
I just mean, you know, switching between that kind of acoustic and the really heavy, but then just a dun 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 dun, kind of like just you feel the anger and the emotion.
I thought that part was really cool too because when they do that really heavy stuff,
Right.
you can still hear the acoustic and it's just
Yeah.
making like doing like
it's like
weird. It was weird
It's
stuff
like a
too.
lute
'Cause-
or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know what it made me? Well, it's a guitar, but I mean, it sounds. This made me think of like a Viking funeral.
That's
like,
why I really liked it because of the acoustic aspect that
mixing,
mixed
blending.
over with the heavy stuff.
Right.
Like
It's
yeah.
beautifully done. That's what all I could think about this whole time was the riffs are like Amon Amarth or whatever. Like
Oh,
Amon
yeah.
Amarth.
Yeah, it is
It's like
like that.
Viking metal, like.
You're right, actually.
It feels like a Viking funeral, like where you would light
Yeah,
a
for
funeral
sure.
fire and like dun dun, like
I mean, I
that's.
should have thought about it because it's funerals on the name, but yeah, it so much is like a
But
funeral.
the drums
dirge.
and then also the light guitar part, all I could imagine was like kind of like it gave me this weird like Viking metal vibe. Like I could just imagine
Right.
like a
I can see that,
Skyrim
yeah.
bard like playing
Right.
the like the light
Sure.
part, and then all of a sudden like doom doom doom,
And
then
someone
yeah.
comes in just like crashing and like
yeah, and when
fucking shit
it
up.
got heavy, those riffs
Oh,
are literally
that-
Viking metal.
This
Yeah.
song really blew me away with how heavy it was.
Despite
because
being-
when I
yeah.
was listening to it, I thought it was just gonna be like
like a Vermilion Part 2.
Yeah, but with some like heavy
Like the
aspects.
softer song,
But for the most part, soft. But then it just comes in and it's just like fucking heavy ass,
yeah.
like sludge chugging,
Sludge,
just
yeah.
like. Dun, dun, dun. I was like,
Yeah,
what
for
the
sure.
fuck? I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I'd say you're expecting a ballad and you get a heavy dirge.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a ballad. Like,
Yeah, I was like, damn, it just, yeah.
I might be the only one here, but to me, when I heard it, it made me think of a song that could have been like level in a Doom, a music in a Doom
I heard
level.
it too. I heard it too. A lot. It's because
I
of
was
the
gonna
higher
mention that
pitch.
about
Makes me think of
an
like
earlier one.
an old Doom level.
Yeah, I could see it. It has vibes. I'd say there's a weird video gamey element to a lot of this music. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that it's like they heard video game music and were like, let's write it like that. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
I can, on a lot of these songs, like you were just saying, I just immediately thought of specific games, which is very
I
interesting.
thought about slaying demons.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like,
This does, I could hear this in a MIDI form and like going into hell or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
that'd be
sure.
really
The
cool.
gates of hell.
Yep. Next up is Red Flag.
all right, so listening to this one the first time, and still listening to it, just right at the beginning reminds me of playing the new Doom, like Doom
Yeah, so
2016.
this is the one.
Like,
It
you
does
just jump
sound-
into a level, and like music starts, and then shit gets crazy.
Well, it sounds
and,
like the gore nests or
Yeah,
whatever.
the
Is that what
gore-
they're called?
yeah.
Yeah, and like
Yeah,
shit
it's
starts
intense
hitting
as
the
hell.
fan.
Yeah, it really does. Like you activate it and then shit start. But like just the noise at the beginning really reminds me of like the music.
Definitely.
From that.
You know what it reminds me of?
I just thought about slaying fucking demons because what's cooler than listening to metal
Right.
and slaying demons?
Oh hell yeah!
It's
this,
a perfect
though,
mix.
This to me could be off their first fucking album.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
literally
yeah, for sure.
This is their song to me. That is everything about it sounds like debut album, like from all the crazy like effects, the
Samples and
samples and stuff, and also just the.
Dun, 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 dun,
It's
dun, dun.
really yeah,
To me,
marching.
all I could think about was that this takes me back to sitting in your car and listening to their debut album. It's straight up classic Slipknot.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that probably what hit me a lot too is just nostalgia a lot. with
it's
it.
so nostalgic,
But like
yeah.
in a good way,
Oh,
not
yeah,
like
definitely.
not like they just made this album because people
No,
they
it
would be
wasn't
like,
to play-
"Ha," it wasn't playing on nostalgia, but like
They also didn't do that thing that's just to placate the people
Right.
who are like they don't sound how they used to because they're
Right.
they're trying new things. But
Right.
this to me is like a song that's like almost like it could fit. Like
Yeah,
the bass is
definitely.
so low, it's just a
Yeah.
subwoofer. Like like you can't even hear what it is. Like that's how they used to sound. So they have such a wide swath of of their eras on this album. I think.
What's next? What's next? That's what it's called.
What's next? What's next? There's spiders all around. The song is giving. Okay, Slipknot went to Hot Topic, and these next couple songs are literally that because like it's like creepy Tim Burton elevator music.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say elevator music. Is what that's
I
what I
read
wrote
something
down.
about
Elevator music.
apparently it seems like they had a lot of some things I was really they always kept referencing Bowie.
Okay,
And I
sure,
feel
yeah,
like
like the way
he had a big influence on this
Sure.
album. His
The way he
music for some-
experimented with different
and
stuff, yeah.
specifically how they experimented.
That's cool,
They
I
would
mean-
always be like said something about. Oh, I always would think like this is how he would have done it in this.
Let's get some xylophones or whatever, or some
or
bells,
something.
I guess.
So I think
Because
he had a big influence on some of their weird stuff, but like
it's pretty. And
I definitely like well, I guess the next
doesn't it sound though kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas?
it
Like,
does or,
yes.
or
Like-
like fucking clown, just a fucking playhouse or
yeah,
clown
for
music
sure. It's cool though. These transitions
little,
are kind
in
of
a little nursery, children's nursery. Like,
But it helps set up
at
the next
night.
track. Well, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really does.
Speaking of,
Spiders.
why'd you say it like that?
The spiders.
The
isn't it?
spiders. Okay, well, moving on from that, this is the weirdest Slipknot song ever.
But I fucking
really-
love it.
I did
I'm
like
not saying
it a
it's
lot.
bad. I'm saying
You're right.
It's just
I
weird.
think if you put all the Slipknot songs like, you know,
Huge
this
risk,
is
like-
definitely the most experimental and
Stylistically,
unique, along with another one, along with
messed
another one on
around
this
it,
album.
definitely.
But very experimental and unique, and I think it was a risk well taken. I think it's fucking, the piano is eerie as hell. It feels like
John Carpenter, for sure.
a
John Carpenter.
Halloween horror movie. And
It's in that 7/8 or 7/4 time.
to me, it
aspect.
feels like a Nine Inch Nails song.
I can see it. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Like I feel like I get like a Nine Inch Nails vibe, and I really like this one.
It's a horror pop song, basically. Like the tonality of it is obviously like, that's why I was making fun of like the Hot Topic thing, but it does sound like Tim Burton-y, you know, all this stuff.
I get you.
But it's got this like just driving like almost mainstream rock sound to it.
Right.
I could see this being a single and like being huge like on the radio, just because I think. But it's in a weird time signature too.
Yeah,
Right,
that is.
yeah.
Yeah,
I really like
to bring that up.
the harmonies and stuff in it too.
Yeah, that's
Singing
cool because
and
he's
the
going
chorus.
spider dun 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 dun, and then the other one's the dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
So it's like
it
it's a
was
cool
really
blend.
And then another thing, I really liked this song. Also has like the only guitar solo.
Oh, you're right.
You're right. Yeah.
And it's when he gets fucking crazy and it's just all like feedback.
It's like
it really like
it's kind of synthy sounding.
it really
too,
reminded me of like
Dude,
almost like
I'm gonna blow your
90s
mind.
fucking grunge. No, like
makes me think of Marilyn Manson a little bit.
Manson,
But here's
yeah.
the thing.
yeah,
Tying this all together of these weird gothy 2000s, Marilyn Manson, all this stuff. This is a Binding of Isaac Rebirth song.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
It is.
It is literally
That's
a Binding
exactly
of Isaac.
it.
It's the bass is that like boom, boom,
You're. Oh my god!
boom, boom.
That
And the-
sums it up perfectly.
And the guitar is like, it does the da-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
I swear to
Dude,
God,
they were
one
sitting
of them
around
played
playing
Binding of Isaac Rebirth,
like, we should write this.
and they wrote, because it is
You're
uncanny.
so right. Boom. Yep. That's it.
It's almost, I mean, I don't want to say, but to me, of all the video gamey feels and
Right,
vibes I
sure.
got, this one was so heavy to me. And then the guitar solo, what you were talking about, actually, what I heard was almost like a synth, as you said, with the wiggle synth.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like a Cars solo or something where it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't make
like
out
the
if it
Cars.
was like...
it's a guitar, but
The
it's
guitar,
like,
yeah.
but I think it's almost like a vibrato pedal or
Yeah.
something. It was weird. This song is weird,
It is.
Yeah.
but it's
Weird.
cool.
Very.
But
cool.
it's cool.
It's
Yeah.
weird, like a goth girl who's just like, I like to drink my own blood, and you're like, cool. That's what this song is. It's like, I literally just see like a weirdly drawn like emo, like I could see this being from the 2000s.
Sure,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Uh-huh.
But I think, as we said, it's weird for Slipknot. It's kind of a
It was
stylistic
I think this is probably their biggest risk taker.
and stylistic departure.
Yeah.
Well, and the time, like you said, time signature, it being what 7/8 or whatever.
Yeah, or seven, like whatever seven.
Which they don't
they're-
have any other songs like that. You
I
know,
don't think so. Yeah, it's and the drums have that cool almost. It doesn't feel like Slipknot. It feels like another band.
Yeah.
But it fucking is. It's a good song. I liked it.
One thing I did read about this song is the structure of it, like the bass of the song was when they recorded it, it was there, but they kept like just fucking with it and just adding new things to it, like
So they like layered and layered and
Yeah.
layered. That would explain why it sounds the way it does. Because really, when you break it down, it's just kind of a looping
Yeah.
groove.
Like
you
It
know?
kind of builds.
and I was
as it
like, oh,
goes.
that's kind of cool that they just like fucked around and like, well, this could sound cool. Let's put it, you know, like.
Seems like a running theme with this album, and it works for him. So hopefully that like it just. I think this is like since this song is well received, at least by us, hopefully it is by other people, maybe they'll make more stylistic departures and risks in the future and see what other crazy shit they do.
Yeah.
Right.
Next song is Orphan.
The 3 R's are back.
Yeah, they've got the rhythm, the rapping, and the
Yeah, I mean,
riffs.
this is one of those that, for me anyway, not a lot to say other than solid Slipknot
Yeah,
and
definitely.
a really fucking good chorus and hook.
Yeah, my main thing is it's the word that came to mind was blistering. I mean, those
Oh,
drums
the
throughout the
double
whole thing. And then that or whatever the riff is.
It literally
Awesome.
sounds like they took it's like a Frankenstein of like older songs, not in a bad way, but I mean it just feels like of that era of like the classic Slipknot.
Yeah, and this one also
It does.
has another classic marching snare thing.
Right.
Like Blister Exists.
Yes,
style.
that's the song I was thinking of was Blister
yeah,
Exists. Yeah.
But yeah, it's got a good hook, and it's
It gets stuck in my head.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's just,
the chorus definitely gets
stuck in your head.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of these songs are, is like, they're blistering, and then you get to the chorus and you're like, hell yeah, this is fucking such a good melody.
It gives you a chance to rock out with it.
Exactly.
And next up, My Pain.
Pass those mushrooms.
Pretty much.
This is the height of the Magical Mystery Tour vibes to me. It's like so trippy and just like
it really
it's
is.
sad
It's
and
out there.
It's kind of like dark though. Too.
Yeah,
I don't
it really
know.
I get horror movie vibes from this also. The like that blang blang,
Well,
and then that creepy like music box typey thing, whatever that
it's
is.
just
I don't
so-
know what instrument it even.
I get
is
lost in
exactly.
this song, to be honest, because
Yeah.
I forget that I forget that it's this long as long as the song as it is,
Right. Yeah.
and I just think of it as like an interlude, just because I get lost. Like,
it kind of is.
flowing
It's a song,
into
but
it.
you're right. It's almost like
And then I come out of it right at the end of the next song. I was like, that was cool. And
it's a mood setter.
yeah,
But it also has this kind of raw, like, it's almost like we were kind of making fun of it when we were just listening to a snippet of it, because it has this little
I mean, that's cool.
It's cool, but it's funny, but that's kind of what makes it good. You know what I mean? Is that it's like, it's almost like they're like, yeah, this is goofy sounding, but it's like, it's what serves the thing.
Yeah, but
it's
definitely
so weird.
Definitely, like with Spiders, I mean, one of the most unique Slipknot songs ever. Like,
And this
nothing else sounds like this at all.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, it is kind of like you said, like a weird music box carnival. It's like a creepy clown man who's just like trying to creep you out. I don't know, like
Maybe.
The vocal.
Clown.
yeah, I mean, for sure. I don't know. There's just this element to it where it feels emotional, but also I can't like really take it too seriously because I just am hearing like a dude messing around on it. That's what I kind of thought of, was like if you went to a club and the opener of the show was like a guy with a Casio.
He's got like a loop thing, and then
And he's
adding
looping
shit.
it and playing a synth, and he's just like, I am here. And
Yeah.
he goes, do, do, do,
You're right.
my name. Like, it feels like that. I'm not making fun of this. Yeah, it's just.
I do like. I will
Yeah.
say I do like the harmonies though.
It
They're
gets
kind of
stuck in my
cool. Kind of
fucking
like
head.
switches between minor and major and stuff. which is
Once
cool,
again, we're
right?
back to that psychedelic thing.
Yeah.
Where it's that psychedelic, like, experimental
Yeah.
thing. So
I'll definitely say, very unique.
Kudos for trying
experimental,
stuff, yeah.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
not
I
my
like it,
favorite,
so,
but
yeah.
I like it
Right.
for what it is. Not Long for This World.
Okay. Not long for this album, actually. We're getting to the end.
Yeah,
of it
we're
here.
almost there. I'll say
Penultimate song.
when I heard this one, a lot of the songs had hints in a lot of moments where I was like, this is like classic Slipknot. To me, this one stuck out as like modern Slipknot.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Didn't make as big of an impression on me.
Yeah, this one-
It still did all the classic Slipknot stuff.
But not in the ways that...
not in the same
And
way.
I'm not saying that's bad.
The other ones were like hammering you in the face, and this one is more of like you said, a more modern, like poppy song with it's got like a really good
I like the vocals.
chorus. Yeah, the singing
The
is
vocals
beautiful.
is good.
I love at the beginning the guitar with the '80s chorus
Oh,
that
yeah.
sounds like Susie and the Banshees.
That is
Kind of like
cool.
the turn, like it just sounds really warbly and watery.
Yeah.
It's like that's my thing, is even for songs that I don't think are super memorable, which this is one of those.
Yeah.
I still love all the production on it and
definitely.
the melodies and and stuff.
There's some cool vocal effects too and sampling towards the end.
That Bit Crusher comes back.
Oh, yeah,
setting up
you're
the
right.
next song, the finale.
Yeah.
That's a thing I just have to put over in this album, is just how seamlessly everything moves.
Yeah.
And it's like each song foreshadows the next, and it's just strange. I don't know how they pulled that off so well.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's
don't-
just,
yeah, well put together for
It
sure.
really was.
Yeah, I mean, it's last thing to say about this. I mean, it's like I like the song, but it's definitely at like on the lower end.
it's just unmemorable. Like I get once again that anthemic, like,
You're overloaded at this point in the album.
right.
compared to some of the other ones.
The
it's
hook
not
gets
gonna
stuck in my
stand out.
head, and I like the guitar bendies where it's like. Oh
yeah,
I like
that's
that.
right, yeah, yeah.
It's memorable. It's really good hooks. They're really good at writing like memorable poppy stuff in a
Yeah.
heavy way, and this is no exception.
And the final track, Soul Way Firth.
Yeah, what a hell of an ending!
The
Jesus
perfect,
Christ.
Right?
the perfect closing track. Like it really wraps it up on a fucking high note.
Oh, it really does.
Like
in your face fucking.
Did any of you wonder what? Okay, because I did some research into this a little bit, and I was just curious if you guys know what the fuck's a Solway Firth is.
No, when I think of it, I think of like, I think of like
Colin Firth's brother.
No, I was gonna say like,
Okay.
I don't know, like soil. I think of like soil.
Well, it's actually water.
Oh,
A firth is like a watery thing. It's like a coastal thing.
Oh.
So, not to take away from the song itself, but since you were kind of doing some lyric deep dive, this was the only thing I even looked into, kind of, because I was like, what the fuck is Solway Firth? And it's like a coastal water area on the border between like Scotland and England.
Okay.
So I'm like, what the
I
fuck?
never would have imagined.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so what is this about? And I guess there's this photograph. It's like I wouldn't say it's like a creepypasta or something, but it's like one of those things where it's like a creepy photo where it's like, how can this be explained? There's a ghost there or something. And it's like a photo that was doctored, and it's like a kid like at Solway Firth on like vacation, like get a picture of it and they're smiling, and then there's a spaceman floating behind him, like coming, that they didn't see when they took the picture was the story, I guess.
I see.
So it's called Solway Firth, and then the lyrics are kind of like, you want a real smile. It's like about like all this smiling and faking stuff, and
Fakeness,
like it's. I think they use like whoever wrote the lyrics. I'm guessing Corey Taylor. Like that's where it comes from. It's not about the place. It's just about the idea.
Oh, okay.
I still don't fully understand it. That's just the little bit that I could get about it. Weirdly, did you guys notice? Going back to the English Scottish thing, that intro, there's like that ambient kind of lead in from the last song, and he kind of does this thing where he's like, you hear bits of it in the very beginning with the ambient intro too, where he's like, do you know what I'm talking about? He's like almost like reciting poetry, but it like has a. Did you not?
I guess
he's
I'll
like,
have to check it out.
It just makes me think
Yeah,
of like
I don't
an
really
English accent. I swear he's doing an English accent in this song. Like,
Well, maybe it makes
Maybe he
sense
does.
with what
he's like, I don't need you to understand. Like, I swear I hear that in the chorus, like him being like, I go back and listen to it next time and listen with that. It's so weird.
For its final song, it definitely. I guess when it came out as a single, when they released it before the album came out, I wouldn't have pictured it as the last song.
No, not at all. Like, it almost feels like it's getting shit started on the album or something.
Exactly.
Not like a closer.
And like, I was like, oh shit, it's the last song. I was like, huh.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's a cool closer. Like, damn.
But when you hear it after the whole album, it works perfect as
Right,
the final
yeah,
song,
for
right?
sure, definitely.
I mean, everything about it is great. The drums, once again, are just fucking powerful, just driving everything.
This
That
was the only one
fucking
I really...
sick guitar.
Yeah. Well, my favorite part is the...
Yeah, there's some really
like
cool
on the
lead
chorus,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not really a solo per se, but like leads that just like shine and like...
Yeah. And the sampling stuff really shines in this as well.
For
It's
sure.
It's got it all.
It's so fucking aggressive and angsty, and like this was one of the only ones where the lyrics I actually kind of they stood out to me, like just a little bit, like not a lot. Like obviously I'm gonna have to listen to it a lot more and actually read the lyrics to get it, but yeah, it was just like a fucking bomb dropping, like to end the whole thing, like.
That is We Are Not Your Kind. So what do you guys think now? I'm curious to hear after we broke them down.
Yeah, so now that we aren't like keeping anything in about it, I can say, I already did say it was like the best Slipknot album, like as a just as
I got to agree. I think it's my favorite top to bottom.
Right.
Yeah. And I think it's might be their best top to bottom. It's great.
Yeah, it's got like a little bit of everything from like all their eras, like mixed together and blended seamlessly, and also like it just flows, like all those transitional songs, like whether you like I'm not gonna put those transition songs on a playlist or anything, but they make it as an album listen.
If you listen to the album,
it's so much. It helps so much.
Perfect because
it
it's just like
flows and fits perfectly.
Yeah, everything is just.
It makes me excited about like hearing more stuff from them in the future. I guess
definitely.
too.
I hope they keep up with what they're doing, whatever they're doing.
The creative like wave they're on.
They've got the creative juices going.
Right. What do you guys? What's your? Let's talk favorite songs and probably like least favorite song. I guess like try and narrow it down to one each if you can.
Ooh,
do you want me to go first? I think I know.
You can go ahead and go first then.
All right. Well, it's not even a contest for me. My favorite is Nero Forte by like so much. Like it's like Nero Forte is 100%. I'd say then Unsainted and oh god, I'm trying to think of. Basically, Unsainted is second, and then like some of them are almost tying because they just all have so much good about them. So yeah, Nero Forte. I've listened to it so much because that chorus is amazing.
Right. Yes, it is.
It is so catchy and so good, and it just has some kind of quality to it, like a haunting quality that I could just hear over and over again. Least favorite, I've got to go with Not Long for This World. It's not bad at all. It's just not memorable. It doesn't make it. Even the ones that I was like thinking this isn't good. Like the only other one, I'm not going to count the transitional ones because they're not like real songs. I get they are, but like I'm not going to say My Pain because that's almost like an experimental. Right. I mean that's down there too, though. Like My Pain and I'd say Not Long for This World are the weakest for me.
Mm. Yeah, I really like Nero Forte. It's probably up there as my number 2. I really like A Liar's Funeral.
Nice.
Is
that your number 1?
I'm pretty sure that's my favorite. Yeah. At least for now.
I can respect
I'd say
that.
it's that one and then Nero Forte is like
that's
right
something too.
It.
You have a good point. It changes like as you listen to an album over time. You're not gonna. That's
Tomorrow
not like
you might be like, "Fuck, I made this one."
But it's my favorite one right now on that one, and I just really like it. Like I don't know. I just really love it when it just gets really heavy.
Well, yeah,
because you're just like, what?
And then you get little tastes of the lightness coming back in and stuff. Oh, it's so good. What's your least, or like what do you think is the weakest or your least favorite?
I'd probably say.
Don't say Spiders.
I wasn't gonna say Spiders. I really like that one.
Okay, good. I'm here for Spiders. I am going to defend it.
I like Spiders. I love it.
Actually, I was gonna say it's starting to grow on me. I was saying it might take over. Right. It might take over my new favorite.
Wow. Okay.
Eventually, I really like that.
It's climbing the spider web up the ladder.
Yeah. Just because I really like with the solo in that one.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
And least favorite, probably Not Long for This World.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised.
I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it.
Just it doesn't stick with you.
Right.
At least that's what it is for me. Mm-hmm. All right, Grim. What about you? Favorite?
All right. It's really tough for a favorite because there's probably about 3 or 4 that it's really hard. But honestly, I think my favorite, it might be the cliche answer. I gotta go Unsainted as my favorite. I know it's...
Dude, no, that one fucking is awesome.
It's hard to say.
Because it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Nero Forte is literally right underneath it, with Birth of the Cruel right underneath that. I'd say those are my top 3, with Spiders in my top 5 probably as well. Unsainted, Nero Forte, Birth of the Cruel are like my top 3, but I think just from it being just so anthemic, and I think one of the best songs I've ever written, Unsainted, even though it's their radio hit, the one that everyone knows, I think, it's got
for a reason.
It's got to be my favorite off the album. But Nero Forte, like you said, I mean, that chorus, that whole, everything's great. But yeah, I'll go Unsainted. At least, I mean, not to just kind of echo, but yeah, not Long for This World, just because it doesn't stand out really to me when, like, the other ones, I can remember them all, but that one I was like, for the most part. Red Flag also is one that I kind of sometimes was like, I don't remember how this one sounds exactly. But Not Long for This World, I'd have to put it at the bottom. Nothing against it, just it's not on the same level as some of the others.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in and listening to us talk about this killer album.
Slipknot.
Talking about the knot. Getting slippy with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll never say that again. I apologize for that one. No. Yeah, I guess we should just kind of wrap it up.
Slip-a-toad.
Grim, where can people find you?
Well, you can find The Vortex on YouTube at youtube.com/whatever. Grim Chorizo is what it is. You can find The Vortex on Instagram at Enjoy the Vortex. Twitter as well. And we also have a Discord, which you can find on our YouTube channel. There are links in the banner up above and also in all of our videos, pretty much in the descriptions. It has a link to the Discord. We'd love for you to join and follow us all there. You can follow me on Instagram at Grim Chorizo if you would like as well.
I'm Zompire Wolf on all the stuff. For the most part, not everything, but most of it. Sorry, I have to pee, and it's hot. And Fiend, do you have anything you want to plug?
No.
The album.
Yeah, the album.
The album. If you haven't listened to it, definitely check it out. Even if it's maybe not your cup of tea, say give it a listen. You never know, might maybe change your mind. So
Hell yeah. And until next time, keep on swirling!